went from avoiding roguelikes and card games to loving roguelikes and card games. This is Spire. Okay, it's time for a confession. Spire is the first roguelike I've ever played, and I think it's the first digital card game I've ever played too. Well, except for those strip poker games I played as a kid, but let's forget about those for God's sake. The reason I've stayed away from roguelikes is that the idea of starting over from the beginning of a game when you die has never interested me. I mean, you played for 2 hours and you're really tense, someone knocks on the window, you die, and you have to start all over from the beginning again. And the idea of playing cards against the computer has never interested me either. Card games are all about staring your opponent in the eyes and psyching them out, right? But Spire got so much praise from so many people I trust that it did end up on my PC, and when I tried it, I was hooked from the start. Now I absolutely love this game. Being a roguelike and being a card game, there's a lot of randomness in the game, of course, and even though I've never been fond of games built on a foundation of randomness, fighting monsters in this game always gets me excited. No, really, killing monsters by playing cards against them, come on, that can't be the basis of a great game, can it? Well, actually, it can. So yes, there's a lot of randomness in this game. Destiny will challenge you, but Destiny will never run over you. All these random events and random rewards exist to force you to make hard decisions. They're in place to make the game more challenging, more unpredictable, more thrilling. Yeah, thrilling. I guess that's the best word to describe this game. Health is really precious in Spire, but if you choose to rest at a campsite to regain some health, you can't also upgrade one of your cards, something that might turn out to have been absolutely necessary later on. So, should you try luck with one of the mini-bosses in order to receive a new special ability, or should you take a safer route? You need to be prepared when you meet one of the bosses, because these bosses are some badass bosses, alright. They are big, they are tough, and they play dirty to win. So you need your precious health, you need your special abilities, and you need to upgrade your best cards. You're faced with decision after decision. Make your choice and pay the consequences. Even though battling monsters is the center part of Spire, your main focus is on slowly building your deck of cards. Without a well-balanced deck of cards, you may very well win a few battles against those monsters, but soon enough, lacking the good strategy of a well-balanced deck, you will run headfirst into a wall when the next boss overpowers and outplays you. In Spire, building your deck of cards is like growing a garden in the wild. You plant the seeds, you make sure they grow, and then you defend your crops from wild animals. Your deck of cards is as important and as alive as your garden in a farming sim. Seeing your deck of cards grow, getting rid of the unwanted cards, finding the right strategy for just this specific set of cards. To arrive at the end of Spire is always bittersweet, because even if you defeat the final boss, you will have to say goodbye to that precious deck of cards that you put so much blood, sweat and tears into. But then, you start a new game of course, and watch your new garden grow. You do want to play again. And again, because the replay value in this game is off the charts. There are 4 different characters to choose from with different abilities and different libraries of cards to collect. There are so many different cards and so many different items with special abilities to earn, and so many different strategies arising from them, that it comes as no surprise that some players have played this game for hundreds or thousands of hours. Game developers like to point out that every playthrough of their game is different, when they really aren't. But every playthrough of Spire really is different. Even every deck of cards you build, even with the same character, is unique, and every strategy you create is therefore different. Not to mention those special abilities and terrible curses that change the foundation of the current playthrough completely. So you re-evaluate your strategy depending on the next couple of cards you gain. Sometimes you will have mostly defensive cards in your deck and you will patiently block and poison your enemies to death. One time you end up with lots and lots of the duplicating free attack anger, using it every turn, making it duplicate itself even more. Another time you'll end up with all your best attacks and all your best abilities present from the word go, killing most of your enemies in that first devastating turn. Spire reeks of that wonderful feeling of anything can happen next. Every step in this game is a step of uncertainty, danger and suspense. Death is always waiting just a turn away. For an hour, everything goes your way, and you run over your enemies. You collect one powerful new card after the other, and you get the items with the best special abilities. You have found the right strategy, and it works. These enemies are no match for you. You are invincible. The final boss is just ahead. And then you make one mistake in one turn at the mini-boss, and you get no block cards in your hand for the next turn. And the monster makes a devastating super attack, eradicating the last half of your precious health bar. First you scream, then you sulk, then you accuse the game of cheating, but in the end you get a grip of yourself and go back to the beginning more determined than ever. Games that only focus on gameplay, like Super Mario Galaxy, are games that I quickly get tired of. I need a big chunk of story and game world in my games to balance the gameplay. But Slay the Spire is 98% gameplay, 1% game world, and 1% story. So I should get tired of this game, but no, I love it. I just love it. Slay the Spire is a game that makes you feel smart. And since this is a turn-based game, you don't have to worry that everything will fall apart just because someone suddenly knocks on the window. When everything does fall apart, it's all on you, I'm afraid. The good. Addictive turn-based gameplay. Incredible replay value. Exciting gameplay with tough choices. Makes you feel smart. Building a deck of cards is a thrill. The bad. The monster design is hit and miss. When all is said and done, I give Slay the Spire 9 out of 10. Combining two things I'm not interested in, roguelikes and digital card games, the developers have created something I loved from start to finish, and from start to finish, over and over again as I replay it. Slay the Spire is randomness done right, and the result is an exciting and suspenseful game that makes you feel cool and brilliant. Now, fellow adventurers, it's time to tend a new garden. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next review.